The phone buzzed, a betrayal in vibration. She suspected and even went so far to have Mark's phone cloned. Sarah picked it up, her heart already sinking. The text message glowed on the screen. There was an attached photo. A photo of Mark, her Mark, his lips locked with another. Laughter, not hers, seemed to echo from the silent photo. Mark's voice filled with a sickening tenderness that twisted a knife in her gut. He was saying, "I love you," but not to her. The world blurred. Sarah's hand trembled, the phone slipping from her grasp to clatter against the floor. Each shattered piece of plastic mirrored her own broken heart. Years of love, of trust, reduced to a lie. Mark, the man she thought she knew, had dissolved into a stranger, leaving behind a hollow shell of their life together. Anger, raw and consuming, surged through the numbness. How dare he? How dare he betray her like this? The pain was a living thing, clawing at the edges of her control. She wanted to scream, to sob, to vanish into thin air. But a steely resolve began to harden within her, a desperate need for something, anything to dull the agony. The beach house stood on a lone hill, a lonely sentinel against the crashing waves. Booked months ago, a beacon of hope for a future, now cruelly ripped away. The salty air, heavy with the scent of seaweed and brine, did little to cleanse the bitterness that clung to Sarah like a shroud. The rhythmic roar of the ocean, usually a lullaby, now echoed the chaos in her soul. She had considered canceling her planned visit, retreating into the safety of her empty apartment. But something, perhaps a masochistic need to confront the ghost of their planned happiness, had driven her to come. The drive had been a blur of tears and recriminations, the silence in the car a deafening reminder of Mark's absence. He texted her and said he'd be late. She knew why. I found another woman, a younger one. She walked along the shore, the sand cool and damp beneath her bare feet. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of bruised purple and angry orange, a reflection of the turmoil within her. Each crashing wave felt like a physical blow, a constant reminder of the love she had lost. She wanted to outrun the pain, to escape the suffocating grip of betrayal, but it was everywhere, woven into the fabric of her being. The tide receded, dragging with it the remnants of the day. Sarah, lost in her thoughts, she stumbled over it, almost falling down. A glint of gold, half buried in the wet sand, caught her eye. She bent down, brushing away the grains to reveal a small, intricately carved amulet. It was warm to the touch, pulsing with a faint warmth of the sun. The amulet was shaped like an hourglass, the two bulbs connected by a narrow neck. Inside, a silver liquid moved with a life of its own. I looked like mercy, but moved strangely. It felt old, powerful, whispering promises of restoring what was lost on the ocean breeze. Sarah knew this could make people younger or older. Sarah, normally skeptical of such things, felt an undeniable pull towards it. Holding the amulet in her palm, she felt a surge of energy, a warmth that spread through her body. Her despair for a moment seemed to lessen its grip. A crazy thought flitted through her mind. What if this amulet, this impossible trinket, held the power to change things, to right the wrongs that had been inflicted upon her? The anger, suppressed but not extinguished, roared back to life. She thought of Mark, his betrayal a fresh wound on her soul. She wanted him to hurt, to feel even a fraction of the pain he had inflicted upon her. But what punishment could possibly compare to the devastation he had wrought? As if in answer, a thought, dark and tempting, whispered in the recesses of her mind. What if she could strip him of everything, reduce him to something nearly helpless, something incapable of causing the same pain he had inflicted upon her? Clutching the amulet tight, her knuckles white with the intensity of her emotions, Sarah closed her eyes and made a wish born of rage and despair, fueled by the raw power emanating from the old artifact in her hand. She wished, with every fiber of her being, for Mark to understand the depth of his transgression. She wished for him to be small, insignificant, incapable of hurting anyone ever again. The wind picked up, swirling around her like a vortex. The golden hourglass in her hand grew almost unbearably hot, the swirling liquid within glowing with an unnatural intensity. And then, as quickly as it began, it was over. The wind died down, the amulet returning to its normal temperature. Sarah stared at the object in her hand, her heart pounding against her ribs. Had it worked? Mark arrived at the beach house, a sanctuary they once shared, now a battleground of emotions. He noticed Sarah was out for a walk, her footprints still fresh in the sand. Taking a deep breath, he decided to make himself comfortable, hoping to find some solace in the familiar surroundings. Today, he'd tell her, then leave her to figure things out. As he settled into the living room, a strange sensation washed over him. His skin tingled, and he felt a peculiar lightness. Before he could comprehend what was happening, the room seemed to expand around him. Panic set in as he looked down to see his hands shrinking, his clothes becoming increasingly oversized. The world around him grew larger, more intimidating. Mark was de-aging, transforming into a toddler right before his own eyes. By the time Sarah returned from her walk, she found him. A tiny, helpless child, his adult mind trapped within a toddler's body, his oversized clothes hanging off him like a cruel joke. She knelt down, her eyes a mixture of satisfaction and pity. "This amulet," she began, her voice steady but tinged with the weight of her actions. "I found it buried in the sand. I made a wish, Mark, a wish born of the pain you caused me. And now you are to live with the consequences. I know that you've been cheating on me. Now look at you. You get to be my son from this day on." Days passed, and Mark, now a toddler, was forced to navigate a world that no longer saw him as a man. He played naked on the beach, the salty air a constant reminder of his humiliation. Women giggled at his nudity, and children wanted to play with him. At night, he slept in a playpen wearing only a pull-up diaper, his mind racing with the awareness of his predicament, the gravity of Sarah's wish pressing down on him. The amulet refused to work for him. Worse, Sarah had been looking at baby clothes that were far too small for him to wear, at least at the moment. The beach house, once a symbol of their love and shared dreams, had become a prison. And as Mark stared out at the endless horizon, he wondered if he would ever be able to atone for the pain he had caused, or if he was destined to remain a prisoner of Sarah's wrath forever. Mark had a feeling it would be a very long time before he reached adulthood ever again.